So we're here today with Dr. Rebecca. Dr. Rebecca, would you like to introduce yourself? Tell us more about who you are, your background, what do you specialize in, and how you got into aesthetics.
So I'm Rebecca Birmingham. I'm a UCD trained medical doctor. I got into aesthetics originally back just before COVID, when I had my first child. I found coming back after maternity leave that I just didn't look like myself. I was really tired, and just kind of like a shadow of the person I was before. So I just needed a boost in kind of confidence, or maybe the more mental aspect of it, I suppose, as well. So I decided, why not to train myself? So I trained with Aesthetics Training Institute in Ireland, and worked in one of the leading aesthetic groups for a number of years as well, working my way up in there. And then in 2023, I went out on my own and created Empower Aesthetics. And I suppose the whole idea behind Empower Aesthetics is that it's for empowerment of women. It's not just fixing problems they may have or fixing things they don't like about themselves. It's about giving them confidence more than anything else.
Absolutely. I love where our two visions collide, or I shouldn't say collide because they go hand in hand. So I'm exactly about the same, empowering women and making them feel confident in their own skin rather than changing the way they look, which is what aesthetics used to be about. Would you find that you still get a lot of clients who would be like, oh, I want to change the way I look, or when they come in they would be like, okay, I want to improve something?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, there's a lot of unrealistic expectations people have from aesthetics. At the end of the day, Botox, it's not a magic wand. Yes, it can reverse aging in as so far as it can, and it can improve the look of lines and, you know, maybe raise your eyebrows a little bit, open the eyes, and that's the beauty of Botox, in that it doesn't have to be unnatural, but I think people expect too much from it as well. So at the end of the day, if you're in later life, it's not going to make you look 40, and nor should you want to look 40 either at the same time. If you've lived a good life and, you know, done the career thing, the life thing, the family thing, there's very few women who come in at 50, 60 years of age saying, I want to look 21 again. Nobody wants to look 21 again. They just want to look really good for their age. And I think that's all about educating them on what can be achieved with Botox and aesthetic treatments, and how to make them look really, really well for where they are in life, as opposed to just reversing time.
Yeah, I think education is very, very important. So when clients come in through the door, that one misconception that I get when I suggest that they maybe should do a botulinum toxin injection is like, one thing that they say is, I don't want to look puffy. So there's a lot of people that would mix Botox with fillers.
Absolutely.
Do you find that
100%,
as well?
Yeah.
So do you want to explain the difference between fillers and Botox?
Yeah, so absolutely. Filler is basically hyaluronic acid that we're injecting into a space to fill it out. That's where the name comes from. So you can get volumizing with it. So if you lose maybe fat pads, or as you age you lose, or if you've lost weight or something like that, you lose volume in the face, that's what you're replacing with filler. Botox is completely different. Botulinum toxin is basically a bacteria that we're injecting into muscles that either partially paralyze or fully paralyze the muscle we're injecting. So if you have wrinkles created, you know, kind of around your frown line, forehead, around the side of the eyes are the most common areas. So when you activate these muscles, they crunch and they create the line. So what you're doing here is relaxing the muscle with the toxin, stretching them out and creating the wrinkle from forming originally, but also smoothing out the appearance of the fine lines as well. So two completely different things and objectives with them.
But when people come in, would they ask for like that fully frozen effect, or just softening of lines where they can still move and look just better, but themselves?
Yeah, so there's two very different clients that come in. There are the people who want that frozen look. They want to look completely fresh with absolutely no movement in their upper head, and that's their prerogative, you know. But I'm all about educating them that natural Botox, or for the best results of Botox, you want to leave a little bit of movement. It should look natural, especially for younger people when they come in. You know, they might have small kids. You need a little bit of expression, you know, to talk to kids and to give out to them, you know, as well. So it's important to leave a little bit of movement. So yes, you can achieve fully frozen faces from Botox. that's not really the objective, or shouldn't be the objective with Botox. You should leave a good bit of natural movement. People should look at you and say, you look great, not look at you and say, what's going on there? There's something not right.
Yeah. Like I love when you do my Botox and you leave a little bit of movement so that I can still keep my expressions.
Yeah.
So obviously you would do Botox for a lot of different client groups when it comes to the age. When do you think it's a good time to start getting Botox done?
There's no perfect time because people all age in different ways. There's no set age limit with it, or no set perfect time to start. And we all have different lifestyles as well. Some people have a lot more stressful lifestyles. It's basically whenever you start to see aging, so if you're looking in the mirror and you're kind of like, God, I just look really haggard maybe, or I just don't look like myself, or I feel like I'm aging quite quickly, that's a good time to start ideally. There are people who come to me that little bit younger to get what we call baby Botox, which is like preventative neurotoxin, and that can be really good for slowing down the aging process. All Botox is doing is essentially slowing down the aging process. It's not going to stop anything, and you kind of have to come back routinely. So for baby Botox, come back maybe even once a year, and that's loads because you're just slowing down that period of time of aging.
That's very nice marketing term, baby Botox, and I was going to ask you about it as well, because we hear it all the time. What is it exactly, and how does it differ from an actual Botox, or is it the same thing?
So with baby Botox, you're basically using a more dilute solution and a smaller dosage. So you're injecting less Botox into the areas, and maybe into less areas as well. So you're just targeting, maybe 1 or 2 area per muscle, whereas with normal Botox, you might target the entire muscle itself. So you're just targeting the areas that are aging prematurely with baby Botox.
And obviously there is that worry that if people start early, they're not going to look beneficial when they're older. What are your thoughts on that? Are there any implications for getting your Botox done regularly over the lifespan?
No, so Botox is a little bit different than filler. So filler doesn't always degrade uniformly in the skin, whereas Botox is metabolized completely by the kidneys within kind of 3 to 4 months of injection. So there is no long-term lasting effects with it. It should be completely excreted from your body. The one thing that I always tell people, if they're going to get it over a lifespan, is not to get it too regularly. So that's why I'm always really strict with my 12-week gap between injections. And that's down to licensing, and it's also down to stewardship of Botox. So if you get it too regularly, or maybe go for too many top-ups in between, you can develop antibodies to the Botox, and then it doesn't work in future sessions. So it's really important when you're getting your Botox, schedule it out right. Maybe if you have a wedding or something coming up and it's in X date, have a time so that you don't have to try and squeeze a session in too soon, because that can have lasting effects then for the lifespan of your Botox.
Right. Okay. Super. And if there's someone that is considering Botox but is a bit worried, what should they do?
Come in and talk to us. I'm always going to give you honest advice. We're not trying to sell unrealistic things here. So come in, chat through. We'll go through all the ups and downs of Botox, what you can expect from it. And if at the end of the day you're still not sure, you can always leave, and there's no obligation to it. And yeah, I just try it. Why not try it? Like I said, there's no lasting effects to it, or there's no long-term downside to it. If you don't like it, don't ever get it again. It's as simple as that.
Absolutely.
So different than filler.
I love that, that I'm not a big fan of filler, and Botox can give you that instant gratification. So even if you have an event coming up, when is it good to get Botox done before an event? Like 4 weeks before, or would you wait 2 weeks prior to the event?
Yeah, so if it's your first time getting Botox, I would always say give it a good 4 or 5 weeks beforehand, especially if it's like a bridal party, which we get quite commonly here. So come in for your consultation and first session about a month before your date, and then that'll take 2 weeks ultimately to kick in with most products, and then reassess. Are you happy? Is there anything you want to change? The last thing you want on the morning of your wedding, is I'm really not happy with X, Y, Z, and then it's too late. So give yourself lots of time. So 4 weeks before, always come for your review, then 2 weeks before or 2 weeks after your injection, to make sure you're happy and I'm happy. And if there's any tweaks we can do, then we can do at that point, and it'll be fully kicked in for your date.
And one question that I get asked probably the most when I suggest that I think Botox would be the best solution is, does it hurt?
It shouldn't hurt, no. So I use tiny little insulin needles, the finest you can get on the market. So you'll feel a little prick, but no, it's like if you've been waxed or had your eyebrows threaded, it's nothing compared to that. I also have BLT cream, which is your numbing cream. If you're completely averse to needles or really hate the idea of it, we can use that as well.
Yeah, so I've been getting Botox with you for a very long time now, so I can tell that it's not painful, and the treatment itself takes only 10 minutes, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then you're good to go. You can enjoy your daily life. Okay, so Botox is a toxin. And when people hear toxin, they're a bit worried. So how safe is it to get Botox done on a regular basis?
So Botox has been around for years, decades, and it has a really good safety profile. I suppose what people worry about when they hear Botox is the term botulism, and that goes back nearly to the 1800s. And that was where people were poisoned with Botox. They kind of ingested it through aluminium cans and unwashed cans and stuff like that. But the doses we're using and how it's processed is just so minuscule compared to the amount that they were consuming at that time. It's almost like it's a completely different realm in terms of, even though it's the same product, it's completely safe.
Yeah. So we hear those things about botulism cases in UK. Obviously, people that end up like this have been treated by unlicensed professionals with products that haven't been accredited for treatments in Europe. What is it that you use here in the clinic?
Yeah, so thankfully in Ireland we're really highly regulated with our botulinum toxin. So only doctors and dentists or registered prescribers can either purchase it or inject it, which is a lot more strict in the UK and other places. We use only premium products here. So we use the Vistabel, which is your allergen product made in County Mayo. That was formerly known as Botox, where the brand name came from. It's now relicensed as Vistabel for the cosmetic use. We also use Azalure, which is a Galderma product. It's a little bit stronger and has a bit more spread for people who are looking for that look. And then the newest product in the market, I suppose, is Nuceiva, which has been licensed here since last October, I think.
It's a very exciting one.
Oh, I love it, yeah. It's probably my main Botox that I use now at the minute, especially with younger people. It's lasting so much longer. People are liking it so much more, purely for the reason that it's leaving that little bit more movement. Even though the line is not forming, it's allowing so much more movement. It's such a large molecule that you can put it right up under brow arches and stuff like that without risk of it spreading. So you can really achieve much more precise results with it as opposed to the traditional Vistabel or Botox products.
Yeah, I had that done last time and I absolutely loved it, because I did get a little bit of movement. Now I'm probably due another session, but I'm going to wait another few weeks before getting it done. You've been so busy with your clients. What do you wish every client knew when they come in for their first Botox appointment?
So most important, I suppose, when you're coming for Botox is to make sure you have very little planned for the rest of the day. So work is fine or whatever, but absolutely no gym sessions, saunas, spa days, hot tubs, anything that's going to raise your core body temperature, or anything you need to put makeup on afterwards for, ideally. So that's why, working here on the Saturday is ideal, because people might have little else on that day and don't have to go back to work. So basically you want to avoid anything that's going to draw blood up to the area we've just injected. You don't want to do anything that's going to raise your core body temperature or make you sweat, essentially. So your gym sessions, hot tubs, hot showers even, or hair dryers in your forehead concentrated for too long. All that's going to do is basically make you sweat. It's going to wash the Botox out of the muscle we inject, and that's going to A, waste your money, and basically disperse the Botox out of where we want, or B, what we don't want is it's going to drive it into the orbit of the eye, and then you get your droopy eyelids, your nasty side effects, your gritty eyes, and once that happens, you're kind of stuck with that for the 3 to 4 months that it lasts. There's very little we can do. We can give you eye drops and stuff like that, but I think prevention is better than cure with
Absolutely.
that.
So if someone follows post-treatment care, how likely is it that things can go wrong?
So I see it almost never, thankfully. I've seen it in the past when I worked in kind of bigger aesthetic clinics. Possibly bridal parties were the number one culprit of it, where they would have their Botox and maybe then go to sunbeds and stuff like that too soon afterwards. And then they come back with, your side effects that you really don't want to see. And there's very little you can do for them at that point once the Botox has kicked in. So always just avoid instead of trying to fix.
Okay, and like, do you find that we get more men these days getting Botox done?
Absolutely, yeah, and it's actually great to see. When I went into this first, I couldn't believe when 1 or 2 men would come in, but I think something like 10% of my clients now are male. And it's really, really great to see. And the most unlikely culprits, it's not just the people who want perfection and, want that certain look. It's just casual, everyday men now that want to slow the effects of aging.
Yeah, do you know what? Like, I see it even with my own father, because like my mom would get treatments, and he's like, okay, she looks good, so I want to look good as well. And my father is a very simple guy, and he wants to get aesthetic treatments done, which is absolutely amazing. And I would get a lot of men that would come in for, let's say, hair restoration treatments. These are getting very, very popular these days, and men absolutely love them, because again, being bald is probably the main insecurity when it comes to male clients. So yeah, it's great to see that they're coming over to get their wrinkles removed as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, people are owning themselves a little bit more. They're not afraid to be a bit proud of how they look. I think especially Irish people, going back years ago, you'd almost be ashamed to be seen to love yourself or to want to improve yourself in any way. But it just the landscape now is so different. Everybody is that little bit more trying to improve themselves and look better and be happy with themselves.
It's so important that you feel good in your own skin. Again, I think there's that misconception that aesthetic treatments are all about changing the way you look. And that's not the motto of the clinic. That's not our vision. It's all about improving the way you look and giving you that confidence to be your best version of yourself.